Okay, so welcome to the India market review for Friday, 17th July for the week gone by. Um, Last week we did a pretty comprehensive PE-based fundamental review of the various sector indices, and we found that quite a lot of them were actually at attractive buying valuations, and that is this the same notes here that we made last week. So some of them have actually done quite well from the view that we had, and some of these sectors have done uh, really nice. The Nifty has gone from strength to strength, and we said above 8600 there's probably a lot of action, or below 8200 a lot of action possible. Clearly the Nifty seems to be in a mood to go up. Uh, so last week we didn't do any individual stocks, so the idea for this week is to look at as many individual stocks from some of these better off indices, fundamentally cheap indices, and look at what's possible there, and also maybe look at some things from our daily market report which might have an overlap between uh, the views from last week on the sectors plus in the individual stocks from that. We'll also look at option data that Vidya has sent. So Vidya is also on the session today. Hi Vidya. And we look at what the Nifty and the Bank Nifty data is telling us about various things. So let me first just start off with the index as usual, and then we can maybe look at various option data next, and after we've seen the option data, then we look at the DMR and hopefully find some trades for next week. So getting into the indices, or actually before that, the review. So one was Greece. I'm not sure what's happening there. What did they pass the laws? Right, so still stumbling along. The European Central Bank increased that emergency limit by $900 million, and then they said it's actually in line with everything and all. So really don't know what's going on there, but fine. And then the big thing, I guess, was the Iran-US deal, which I guess most people were just expecting it to happen. Obama got blasted by the Republicans and some people of his own party back in the US. But if you saw his live uh, interview and news on Iran specifically, I think it was a pretty open and frank thing, and he called a spade a spade. So that's out of the way, and I think basically now we have results to basically focus on in the coming days and coming weeks. And of course, we have not sure how this will go. We have the monsoon session starting soon, and will the bills get passed, or will it be wash out or something like that, right? Okay, so basically that's what there is. So let's look at the indices, and you can see the Nifty today closing at 8609, so 9 points above 8600, and clearly breaking out of that resistance, horizontal one at 8500, that neckline, the yellow trend line. So it's a move which is clearly up. The volumes are not there, however, but nevertheless, if you look at the indicators, and if you look at the Marubozu type moves, not of today but of yesterday, you can clearly make out the uh, uh, strength, I think, in the way the move has happened, in the style of the candle, right? So that's the trend line now, right? And it'll be interesting to see how far this could now go up. And the next level on the Nifty would be at around 8,800, and then all the way to 9,000 perhaps, right? So clearly the bulls are in charge, and that's the way to look at the market, look for going long opportunities. Next, I want to look at the Bank Nifty, and that has yesterday clearly broken out of the 18,900 type resistance, and there was a 300 plus point rally on Thursday. Today there's been a little bit of a profit taking, I would say, but technical wise, indicators wise, higher tops, higher bottoms, and looks like this is again heading to make higher levels in the markets in the days to come. And looks like this I think would be the next resistance, which is around 19,700, 19,800 is what I would look forward to. So the banks are something to go long on, and once it breaks past 20,000, then 20,500 would definitely be in sight. Just going back, so I said bank showing strength, FAY is a little expensive but might be reasonable. In other words, it's not, yeah, the data we see or we saw last week was all on the basis of historical FA. It's not forward looking in terms of future EPS, and if you factor that into account, the valuations would be even more attractive. So if the earnings come out well, then almost every sector except autos and pharma is quite well poised to probably go up, and we could probably see more life highs in many stocks in the days and weeks ahead. So that, of course, the Nifty is the only concern with 22 plus, but even with a 10% rally from current levels, which makes it another, almost 900,000 points on the Nifty, it would still be under 24, 25. It's only after 25 that it becomes really expensive. Not that 22 is not expensive, but what I'm saying is up till 25, I think there is decent headroom FA wise. And again, the data we've been seeing is all historical, and taking forward earnings into account, things may not be actually that bad. So, right, so that what I want to do next is since we've seen the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, and they're both now trending up, let's look at how the options data for these two has been playing along. This is courtesy Vidya Shankar. So thanks Vidya for sending this today. And why it is so timely is because in 2 weeks from now we're going to have expiry on the 30th, and it's a good time, perfect time actually, to start looking at options data at this point. So not sure everybody right now would perhaps get the value of this, but still I think great. All right. So this is for the Nifty, and if we look at the entire picture, then this is how it looks for day to day. And let me spend some time on this today. We usually don't do so much time. And what you can see is that the red boundaries, which are the red shaded area, which represents the put options, has over the last, so this is this 5 weeks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday's data, right, has actually increased dramatically, the puts. So you can see the red area has actually increased quite a lot. You can also see, if you observe carefully, the blue area has actually come down. So the blue area was going up to this horizontal line, and you can see that that has come down from there to a little bit between the 4 and the 5 mark, and that move has happened gradually. So there's been a symmetric, or let's put it this way, there has, while there has been a clear increase in the puts out there, there's also been a decrease in the calls, and overall this just goes very well with the markets moving up. The puts are being written because from a writer's perspective, he is unlikely to lose money. The put writers are getting out of the market because they're losing money, and the call writers are losing money. So the put writers are making money and the call writers would be losing money, right? So when the markets are moving up, it doesn't make sense to write a call. It makes sense to buy a call. But on the other hand, the person who writes a call is going to lose money. So you can clearly see there is a decrease on the upside. So that means that further upsides are actually possible. Now let's do this day by day. So this is for uh, 30th July is not the date of the, it's the date of the expiry of the contract. It is not today's date. The date is given here. You can see 13th of July, right? So just watch how three things change. One is the left red area, which is the puts value in rupees. On the right side is the calls area, which is the value in rupees that's at stake. That's open interest in the market right now. And this vertical line that you see here is what is called the option pain, which is the point at which if the market closed, there would be least loss for the writers on both sides. So notice how we go to the next day, right? If you notice, there was a very slight increase only on the calls put side, right? So can you see that? Now we move one more day. This is Wednesday, and you can see that there is this tilt that you can see. Can you see this? Right? It's like swinging right side down and left side up. Right? So that's what's happening. So moving on, you will see this behavior where the right side goes down and the left side comes. Imagine you holding your hands at your wrist like a cup, right? Like a vase, and tilt it to the right. That's what you will see, right? So you can see this again and you can see that again, right? So I'm going to play this again right from the beginning. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, and let's play this again and this time focus on the middle line, the vertical line. You will see that it moves right. Can you see a dramatic move on the right on the 16th of, that was yesterday, right, when the market moved up? And basically you will see the same thing for the Bank Nifty, right? So this is the Bank Nifty, and so this is all the 5 days, and you can see actually the Bank Nifty, there's a huge buildup of puts on the red side. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing happened, and Thursday there was a big breakout, and the Bank Nifty also went up. I think there's some announcement about some FDI decision and all that, correct? And after all that news came out, then the Bank Nifty also broke out. And if we go back to the Bank Nifty, this is the breakout that we are talking about, right? So there's a Bank Nifty, this Thursday big Marubozu type candle, right? So if you go back to this, again, notice how it dramatically increased Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Big move, right? I'm going back Wednesday, and then this is Thursday. You can see that the Bank Nifty option pain went to 18,800. It was earlier earlier 18,500, and in one day it jumps 300 points to 18,800, and then it actually moves to 18,900 also today, right? So basically this shows you that the upside is opening up and the downside is becoming far less, right? What were the revised FDI norms, Vidya? I mean, do you have some details or input on that? Right, okay. So while we get some input on that. Let's look at how the open interest has changed in this 1 week. You can see that this is the Bank Nifty open interest. On the left side is the puts, and on the right side is the call. So these two charts are for the uh, puts here, right? And what you can see is very clearly that the 18,500 and then the 19,000 now have actually increased in puts very dramatically on the 16th and on the 17th, and this is the important thing to know. On the 16th and 17th, the last two headers you see here, big move on that. 18,000 was already a very good support, but no big change on in the week. The big change actually happened on 16th and 17th, yesterday and today, right? On the puts, dramatic increase, which means there are a lot of people who believe that the market is not going to go down. This is for the Bank Nifty. On the call side, on the right side, once you come, you can clearly see that 19,000 call, right? And then the 18,500 call, right? There has been, if you see this on the 16th, there was a big drop in the 19,000 call, and then now there's been a build up on the 17th again. You can see that here in the levels going down. Looks small, but this is actually very significant. The market sort of didn't go up much today on the Bank Nifty also. And then you also see on the 19,500 a reduction in the open interest and also an increase today, right? So this is very unusual actually, to see a big drop on one day and then a big increase. The is that 1 second? No, sorry, this is for, I'm getting confused with the colors. On this is the 14th, it had increased, and then it had dramatically decreased on the 16th, right? After the FDI norms came out. And here on the 19,500, it had decreased on the 16th and it had increased on the 17th, right? So 19.5 has actually built up today very, very strongly. You can see that in that small gap here, right? So let me see if I can uh, zoom into this. Okay, yeah, right. So if you can see this gap here in the cursor, that's what we are talking about, right? So 19,500 seems to be a good resistance now on the Bank Nifty side. Coming to the same information for the Nifty now, right? And you can see that on the um, put side, which is the table on the left, we've seen a very, very striking increase in the 8,500 and the 8,600 puts. From the writer's perspective, the writers are basically saying that they do not expect the market to now go down below that level, right? So 18,500 is where this resistance was, and 18,600 has been crossed today. And on the day that happened, we have seen a dramatic increase on both the 8,500, 8,600 puts. You also saw the open interest shift significantly. Right? Sorry, the option pane shift significantly. On the call side, you can see a dramatic decrease in the 8,400, 8,500 um, strike price, which means people who are writing the 8,400, 8,500 strike, who are now losing money and can lose even more money if they hold on to their written positions, have decide to basically square off their positions. And actually, if you notice, the scaling has been now the same for some time now. We earlier had a little different scaling, so Vidya has put in substantial amount of effort to make this really like for like comparison. And you can see that on 17th, right, you've got this increase in 8,800 and also on the 8,900 on the 13th of July. So the highest strike price are now being written, and the lowest strike prices are now being closed. Along with this, you can see that at this point, however, let me come back to the support zone. The strongest support is at 8,500. This big um, stick here, right? The 8,500 is the strongest support. And on the call side, right now we are definitely looking at 8,500 call as the highest resistance. But unlike the 8,500 put, which is clearly marked there, you actually have more or less equal resistance at 8,600, 8,700, and 8,800. This is just as we normally see, as close to the strike price, then we see a lot of action in that of activity in that area. So essentially, market unlikely to go below 85 and could go anywhere around 85, 86, 87, and this is likely to decrease in the coming days. Actually, if we did this on a day-to-day basis, you would actually see this in sort of almost live action. All right. Okay. So okay, so basically that's it about the open interest and the strike price discussion. So basically, you can see, I think, a very good. You should go back and review the sessions on a regular basis to understand how the options data can actually give us good insight into uh, where the market is likely to uh, um go in the days or weeks ahead. It doesn't give you a very long-term picture in terms of many months, but definitely for the next few days or even maybe a month, a week or two, you can definitely um, get a sense. So essentially, both from a technical perspective and from a derivative perspective, what we are seeing is that there is some more upside which is possible. So that's great news. And let's now get into our daily market report. So everybody would have received it, whoever is in the mentorship group, and I'm just going to use this because it helps us filter things so quickly. And this is also thanks to significant efforts by Vidya to make this work. And in a sense, today it's more or less his creation. Uh, this is actually yesterday's and nothing much has changed. So we don't have today's, but this is more than good enough. What I propose to do is look at two things: all-time high closes and also all-time low closes, with a view of finding perhaps one on the one side breakout candidates, and on the other hand some value picks perhaps, and hopefully from the sectors that we already found in the last week. Let me also look at let's say the FNO first, so that maybe we can find some opportunities there. So if you look at it from right, so if you look at it from this filter that I have done, then okay, just to check, let me all right, okay, wonderful. Okay, so basically what this tells us is this set of FNO stocks still here. Okay, so that is our Aurobindo Pharma, BPCL, Coal India, Dr. Reddy's, Glenmark, HDFC Bank, Hind Petro, Kotak Bank, Maruti, Siemens, Stride Arco Labs, and Tata Chemicals have all done life highs as of yesterday, not today, right? And these would be either breaking out or have broken out from their earlier highs. So let me quickly, we look at those, but actually coming to something which might be a lot more dramatic and something worth following for the next week is this stock, right? So if you look at Indian Oil Corporation, so this is actually 2% away from its life high, which was posted on 27th September 2010. So I want to look at that first right away, because this is actually now breaking out of some sort of a multi-year high. So if you look at where is that? All right. So I'm going to put IOC, and what you can see about IOC is that this is the high we are talking about, 2010. Right. So Indian Oil, like our BPCL and HPCL, basically into oil retailing, retailing, etc. And actually, this has been a laggard in many ways, because unlike HPCL and BPCL, which have rallied to make significant life highs in the last few weeks, this one is actually stuck below its 2010 peak. And if we look at this on a weekly chart, then we will see that there's been a clear rise in volumes May, September, November, and there's been again a very nice rise in volumes in the last 3-4 weeks. So Indian Oil Corporation is definitely going up on good volumes, and that's exactly the sort of pattern we like to see. And as at this point, Indian Oil Corporation is 2% away from its life high as of yesterday, actually. So it's come down a little bit, and so once it breaks out of this level of 450, then we should probably see some significant moves on this stock in the days to come. Of course, it has already run up quite a lot from about 350 levels to 450 levels, and I would therefore just caution that corrections are possible. But having said that, it is only for traders with conviction, because we are now talking about a double top almost at uh, from a 5-year peak. We have broken out through a triple top here at 383 in early part of July or late June, and then we've seen it gone from 380, 390 levels to the current price of 440. So about 10% move, but definitely something to watch out for once the 450 level goes, and to that extent we must put an alert somewhere for so that we get notified about that. So that's one of the finds, I think the first find for today. Another one that I think would be significant, let me just see if there's something okay. This is interesting. It's quite far actually from uh, its life high, Power Grid and Godrej. But let's look at Power Grid, Godrej, and then we'll also look at LNT. So this is something might be missing in our data here. Okay. Okay, but let's look at Godrej and Power Grid. So if you look at Power Grid, okay, hi, this is a nice find. There is no doubt about that. Why do I say it's a nice find? Because it's got nice double bottoms type stuff at 138. Today it has a nice Marubozu. Volumes are still very tentative, so invest at your risk, and right now not on the highest side of probability in my opinion, but let me see if anybody can remember a similar picture technically that we saw on a stock about a week or two back. Anybody? Anybody who guesses right will figure out some gift for them. Technically, there was a similar picture that happened a week or two back. We had discussed the stock and it's done very well since we spoke about it. And that is showing us, this one is showing us a similar technical picture, except that the breakout has not yet happened. It is perhaps setting itself up for that breakout to happen. Okay, no responses coming in. Well, the stock we saw last time, which did a similar move till it broke, before it broke out, was Crompton Greaves, and this one is more or less doing the same type of technical picture. Looking at the weekly chart, I would say that it might take a little more time to break out of that downtrend line, and it has to break out of 143. And what I would say on Power Grid is basically if it goes down to around 138, 137 levels, that would be a good place to probably accumulate. Having said that, on the side of probability, you should definitely buy it once it breaks 143, 143.50, and that will be a good time to buy, because right now the volumes are actually not there, as you can see. So let the volumes pick up and then you could be better off. But having said that, you're losing about almost a 3% return. So it's that typical quandary. Can you pick it up lower, but the probability is low and the risk is also low? On the other hand, you can pick it up later, and then it'll, once it breaks out. Vidya just posted a link on Indian Oil, saying that you can see it in the chat box. All of you, please open the window. Uh, there is an oil jetty that Indian Oil has opened up for Paradeep refinery to import crude and export its products. So that's definitely good news. It'll whatever it is doing right now, it's probably a more expensive thing, maybe railroads or tankers or whatever it is, and putting up uh, oil jetty makes things far more efficient. It's an expensive investment, but a very efficient investment, right? So that is definitely a fundamental good boost for this stock in maybe the weeks and months and quarters ahead. May not be a reason for the stock to shoot off right now, but thanks for that, Vidya. Very, very timely. All right, so we were looking at Power Grid. Okay, Srinivas is adding that in IOC there's a 10% government disinvestment on the card soon. All right, thank you for that. That's also very timely input. So there might be some dilution, not might be, there will be some dilution, and the stock might correct to that extent. Actually, that's the wrong statement I made. Sorry, I take that back. It's not a dilution. It's just a sale of stake. They're not issuing new shares, so the EPS is going to remain just the same. So because of more free float, there might be a slight temporary halt to the rise of the prices, but this is, in my opinion, set to go higher, and on any correction it should be bought. So after the disinvestment, if you have a date, that will be a great thing to track, and if it corrects, then buy it. I would say the next target on IOC is 500. Okay, so that was IOC and Power Grid. Okay, sorry, keep disjointed today. Power Grid, so once it breaks, Power Grid breaks 143, 144, then 147, 148 is probably going to happen quite fast, 155 and then 160. Stop loss for Power Grid, if would have to be a little, definitely on the lower side, somewhere there below 136.20. Right, so not a great risk reward ratio at this point, but if you're willing to hold on to for a longer time frame, then definitely something worth looking at once the breakout happens. Okay, what else was there on our find apart from Power Grid? There was Godrej Industries. Okay, we had seen that in the Wealth Lab some time back along with Srinivas, and Godrej. Who is that? Yeah. So that's been going up in a nice trend, as you can see, since 2010. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years trend. Perhaps not the, it's a very slow stock that way, and will test your patience. Uh, and because of this amazing some volume that happened, we are unable to see the volume charts very clearly, unfortunately. Let me see. All right, we have to really get to the last 1 week, 1 month time frame. Some increase in volume, that's for sure, but today there has been a 5 rupee fall, more than a percent. Nothing that significant, but is this an evening star is something that one is forced to consider. If there is some correction to around 475, 480, then this is probably the stock to buy, maybe even at 370. Of course, you'll have to make sure, keep watching and see it's falling on low volumes, all that, and might test your patience, as you can see for the last 5 years, but headed to its life high of 2007, after which it will probably be a good candidate. But any correction towards the trend line of 300, which is almost 30% lower from where it is here, would be buying opportunity. Okay, let me just put this on my other screen. Irritating a bit. And let's look at some of the other stocks which seem to be making breakout highs in the last 4 days. I'll start just with on the list, no favorites as such. So you're looking at Oro Pharma. So remember, pharmaceuticals bit on the expensive side, but well, if you're looking at the trend, clearly that's making new life highs. Volumes bit uncertain. All right, so be careful, little folks. Um, it's not looking very happy on the volume side. You can also see weekly chart. I'm sorry about the lots of lines that come up, but the volume for the last 2 weeks has actually sort of decreased. I would be very circumspect about this, and perhaps even though it is a breakout candidate, I would uh, uh, leave it for now. Let's look at also Glenmark. All right, so that one has just shot up. Here the volume picture is, I would say, a little healthier, but again in the last few weeks. Notice here, by the way, 1,000 rupees, how it stagnated there for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, didn't do much, and then after almost 3 weeks of doing nothing and one sort of heart attack day in between, it went from 1,020 to 1,100 in just a matter of 3, 4 days. That's what is often required sometimes. Just a lot of patience and the just waiting for it to break out, right? So now it's firmly a 1,000 rupee stock. Also notice how several times it went to 1,000, came back down to 700. That's a 30%. Sorry, went to 825, 830, came down 850, and then it has gone up. And we should actually leave that 1,000 line there, because in the future it is definitely going to test that. Okay, but unfortunately we don't have fundamental data for individual stocks, but Glenmark, remember, pharma, little bit expensive. I'll just finish off with the pharma things here on the list. There's Oro Pharma, Glenmark, and then there is Dr. Reddy's. Okay, so Dr. Reddy's broken out of, I wouldn't say a double top, but clearly has broken out of its life high. Again, you can see 1 2 3 months of a sideways move of doing not much, taking support at 3300, and then now the stock is headed to 3900, probably to 4000, and on this one day it went from 35 to close at 37, 200 rupees. That's almost what, 8% in just one day. You just have to, and then please note, after doing 8% for 1 week, it does nothing much. That's the nature of the beast, right? Again, please notice the volumes are, I would say, diffident. So what does the market know that is not on the charts is the question that comes to my mind. It's going up, that's fine. Technically, there seems to be more strength left. There's some more move, there's some more steam till at least probably 4,000. Let's put that. The stock is right now at 38.77, so about 130 rupees. Still possible on the upside. What happens after that? We'll just wait and watch, right? Okay. Next is Star. Strides Arco Labs. So I remember I used to track this once upon a time, and then somehow just went off my radar. Uh, okay, all right. So one thing which is particularly interesting about Strides Arco Labs, maybe a reinvention of types. This was a stock that had a high of 1,100 in 2000. There's some data which is missing here. And then essentially, if you had bought the stock then, you're only making money now. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. I think there was a split here which has not been reflected on the charts. Yeah, 900 to. Right. So sorry. This is a corporate action problem here. This chart has not been adjusted backwards. If it was, then this is not something that's a significant breakout. What is significant is this move from here of 1250. And if I look at what we have, then yeah, right. So from 1250, it has broken out. As a matter of fact, there is an ascending triangle here. And the measuring implication about 1050 to 1250, 200 rupees, 1500 is the next target. However, please note, today is a sort of shooting star there. Maybe if it comes back to 1250, that's the place to buy. Anything up to 1180 would be a place to buy, but 1500 is the next target on star. All right, so that's it with there's one more, Divi's Labs. Broke out today. Right, so yesterday it was there on our screener and it broke out today, right? So here's how one would play this right now, the pharma space. We know that fundamentally is on the expensive side, but purely this is a technical play now, in my opinion. And unless something dramatic happens, there have been some news that there's a lot of potential left for Indian pharma companies, which is great. But again, the business might be great, but the stocks are right now very, very expensive. And so on a correction, one should pick it up. But in the meantime, just technically play this with some smart resistances and supports and stop losses if you are doing that. And I think this would be trading opportunities right now, not so much as investment opportunities. Okay. Okay, so that's it with pharma. What else is there? As you can see, is some auto stocks and um, banks, right? So let's look at them in an order. Let's look at we saw IOC. Let's just finish BPCL because that's also showing up on our scanner. And well, here's a lesson for all of us, especially if we were doing derivatives. This would have scared anybody out, right? These red candles would have scared anybody out. You would have had a massive mark-to-market loss of profit, or you'd be suddenly doubting whether what you should do. And well, at this point, then the only sensible thing, remember, because at that time it did happen on high volume. Let me get this right. So this part, this candle did happen on high volume, and you would have been completely justified in saying that I should get out of the stock. And then what does it do? It does that, and then it takes really good support at 860, and then it just goes up there in three white soldiers, halts again at the life high resistance, and then has broken out. And again, now it is sort of hesitating there with today's spinning top like candle. So I'm guessing that there was some news here that just pushed it, but you know what, been saying this for weeks and months now. These are all stocks undergoing re-rating. IOC has not. Like, so this is what I was saying about BPCL. For example, after breaking out at 650, it went to 950, and IOC hasn't done that. That's a 50% increase in BPCL. And on our uh, um, so while we are doing BPCL, it just be fair that we did IOC, we did BPCL, that we should also do Hinpetro and review that. Okay, so Hinpetro, there it is, going and making another life high and doing that on the volumes are now coming off. This is the concern. Are we getting to a top somewhere in the markets in some of these very bullish sectors? And that's why it is important to keep some good trend lines, um, and keep some good stop losses for every position that you have, right? But you can see the entire group is moving up, and now I hope you can get the sense of why IOC could be a really good trade. So any drop in IOC price is, or especially, would be a good place to enter. Uh, let's look at okay, Maruti is broken out. Siemens is something that we try to look for in our wealth lab, and while it has actually broken out of a double top here, and we also have an ascending triangle with a measuring implication of about 150 rupees, so that makes it 1550 as a target. Somehow the way it is going up, the sort of candles that you have would make anyone a bit circumspect about being very aggressive on this. A few shares, a couple of lots is fine, but don't go very aggressively in. However, the indicators are all showing strength, and just watch out for that. Right now, I think 1500 becomes a resistance it has to take out, and once it does that, then 50 rupees is quite easy for it to get. If it comes back down to this price of 1470, then that would definitely be a good buy. Okay. All right, let me move this away. Looking for any. Okay, so we've got a lot of banks, and you can have a look at that, but there's India Bulls showing up on uh, this list, and I also want to look at in the same group. So IB, what is it? India Bull Housing Finance, right? Great. By the way, just to remind everyone, we had last time said CNX Finance is also looking very good from a valuations point of view, and the CNX Finance has some stocks which are from the um, housing finance side. So by the way, this is a cyclical thing that we're looking at now in terms of banks and housing finance, or anything in finance, possibly reducing interest rate scenario. Another rate cut is expected in August. The FM has been more vociferous about it. Softening of crude oil, softening of inflation, all these things. And the monsoon, well, I don't know, I have a mixed opinion about it. Oh, by the way, I think there's this guy from the Indian Meteorological Department who said for the last month the monsoon was 30% deficient. This is something I just happened to suddenly see, right? Okay. Vidya, what are you saying in the chat? Money control is not giving financial graph. So why look at it? He's giving. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So since it's coming up, so all of you can maybe open your link. Uh, yeah. Okay. So, all right. So this is the financial graph for yeah, um, Glenmark, but I wish there was something on EPS or something like that. That would really be nice. So book value, all right. So here's very interesting that the book value actually came down in 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. But why is the 15 data not there? So we're still um, 1 year stuff is not there. And by the way, please note this book value is not adjusted for bonus, rights, and split. So we really can't use this data, unfortunately, Vidya, because then we're going to have to go back and fix this. So unless it is adjusted data, we will probably end up spending a lot of time on trying to figure out whether things are actually getting better or not, right? But thanks for pointing it out, and hopefully in the future they will have that and we could use it. Okay, sorry. And then we've got, okay, where was I? Yeah. So India Bull Housing Finance, we're looking at housing finance stuff, and you can see that nice move from 450 to 650, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 months of consolidation, and now the breakout. Some people would call this a cup and a handle pattern, right? It's something which is talked about in technical analysis. So we have a new life high on that. You can see that that's where it is, right? And it is doing that right now again on not great volume. So seeing this picture again and again, so I'm wondering what's going on. But you could get into this with the stop loss with below 620 actually for a more longer term perspective. But technically it seems to be headed up, and definitely none of the stocks that we spoke today are shorting candidates, and you would want to watch them for going long opportunities in the coming days and weeks. So I would say 700 first psychological mark. All right, that's it. That's on about 30 rupees from here, 5%, and then in steps of 20s and 50s, all the way to 1,000 perhaps. But in the same group is LIC Housing Finance, and you can see that there's a wonderful flag here which we spoke about 2 weeks back, if anyone remembers, or did we speak in the Wealth Lab? I was not sure. This is a perfect flag. I think the volumes are also very neat on that. Yep, right. So good volumes there. 2.5 weeks of consolidation, went down a little longish in terms of duration, but yes, the breakout happened. Here's the challenges, right? So nothing is perfect. The breakout didn't really happen on high volume. So this was one clue, that's it. And then the breakout happened 1 or 2 days later, and actually the volumes dropped. And it's only today that the volumes have picked up. And this is not sometimes, quite often what's happening in the markets, that while we keep talking about breakouts on high volumes, this is a very, very good example to show you that sometimes you just get breakouts and no volume in that, right? So if I were to move this to just a clean sheet, you can see that here very clearly, okay, that from here to here you had a very nice volume move. here to here, decreased volume, and then here you can actually see the volume has clearly dramatically decreased a lot, and it's only today. And this just reinforces what we've been saying. Price is what we need to look at. Price, 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 and price only, right? Okay, so this one is where is it headed? It's headed to its life high. That's where it's headed, 943. And once it moves there, then 500 for sure. Actually, it has made a high of 50920. Yeah, and quite sure that it's going to break out of that and quite possibly be looking at 525, 550 levels, right? Um, so DHFL, right? Divan Housing Finance. So just we got that sector. So I'm looking at stocks from that sector. All right. So this needs to be corrected. Okay, that's where the life high is. Okay, so you can see that this was earlier the old life high of 417. 417 broke out and 417 went up all the way to 560. 555 came back down again, and then get one very scary picture here. Again, actually not on good volume. Something would have just happened today. These are the pitfalls of derivative trades. If you were on this day, you would have just freaked out, or you've probably been thrown out of the market because of real-time M2M considerations. But then after that it goes down and then just recovers. So this one not yet giving that sign, but you know what, this could be a teeny weeny flag that we're seeing. Not even a flag, a pennant that you're seeing here, right? So you saw that on LIC Housing Finance. You're seeing something similar here on right? So if this breakout happens, then voila, right? So we've got a move from 420 to 450, 30 rupees, another 30 rupees from here. 480 is what the target would be, right? So this is where you should look forward to it. You can see that's also resistance from the past, right? I call it the magic of TA, simple as that. And you can see resistance support, and then when 480 485 breaks, then 500 will come quickly. This is another one, I think, apart from Indian Oil Corporation. You should look at DHFL, LIC Housing Finance, and India Bulls in the coming week. And you can definitely look at any other housing finance companies which are there, right? So I know this is a request to Vidya. Vidya, on this sheet, if we can, introduce that industry classification, then we could find these things. So, in case we can get around to that, might help. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So we found. Okay. So since we're talking about flags on the uh, DMR, we also have a flag sheet. Where is that? It's in the past. Yes, here are the flags. Okay, so let's look at some flags and see if how they are doing. So just for everybody's, I'll just read them out. So you've got Bhushan Steel, Chennai Petro, Financial Technologies, Himmat Singh Seed, Jyoti Structures, Laopala, MMTC, Monet, Ispat, Orchid Chemicals, Tata Sponge, Venky's, and from a few days before, GTL Infra, HFCL, AstraZeneca, and JBF Industries, in case you want to note that down. So let's look at some of these. Oh, sorry. Uh, which one is the best flag here? We've got something at a 20, 20, 21. So let's look at Bhushan. Let's look at Himmat Singha. Let's look at La Opala. Monet is part, right? So none of these actually are not many of these are FNO stocks. Right, anyhow. Bhushan Steel. Oh, the reason I said that is because of this. 500 rupees stock is now 50 rupees. Are we looking at some sort of a revival? What happened here? It seems very strange. Is this some sort of one of those Adani port like demergers where something happened and let's see, daily chart. Yeah, circuit down, circuit down, circuit down. Okay, I think it will be better to actually not do analysis on this. Maybe, okay, from a long-term perspective, but here is definitely something that is cooking on Bhushan Steel. Very difficult to do a technical review on this. Thank God it's not in the FNO thing, but if anybody looking for possible value, we might have found one for this week, and it'd be good to figure out some research on this before we do anything aggressive. 50 is some super support. It's come to about 55. It's been bought here in April. It came to 50. There was fantastic volume, and then it has cooled off for 6 weeks. Again, it's been bought off with a massive gap in the price. So it went from 55. Just let me make me sure there is no data missing. Yep, there's no data missing. 8th, 9th, and 10th, right? So something we took it from 55 to wow 70, and now it has come down. One could be tempted to call this a flag. From 70 it has come to about 65. We're talking about 55 to 70, 15 rupees move, probably breaking out. Say 65 plus 15, we're talking about 80. By the way, 15 rupees on 60 bucks, we're talking about a 25% return. And then if this recovers, who knows, this could be going back to 100 rupees also. So guys, I think we have found a good uh, potential. I don't know where to put this. Is this a turnaround? Is this a bargain? We need to, if somebody is willing to focus on this, I need to, where is that? Sorry. Too many toolbars. We need to focus on what happened here. So if anybody can dig up something, what happened in August, September of last year on Bhushan Steel. Okay. Alright, so who posted this? Vidya has posted a link. Bhushan Steel lost as much as 7% to 68.70 on report that lenders have lost, gained as much as 7% to 68.70 on report that lenders have approved a debt recast. All right, false. Why would it? Okay. Okay, so this was on Monday, but I'm trying to understand why it would fall when there was a debt recast in place. Doesn't add up. Uh, but anyhow, um, here is the thing. There's something called the 525 scheme, which we discussed, I think, thanks to Srinivas, correct? In the Wealth Lab, where basically the government has come out with this thing that the debt of steel companies needs to be reformatted, and it's like in a sense a mini Greece actually for the steel companies. They've taken on huge debt, unable to pay, so they're talking about giving out the payment in longer tenures, plus so 25 years plus a provision after 5 years to revisit that and make it a bit longer. So much more breathing room. The EMIs goes down for now, and then they can, when the idea is hopefully in the future when uh, the economy revives, the steel production increases, steel demand increases, then they will be able to make money and they'll be able to pay that money at that time and let them just, go easy for now. So this was Monday's news, but in the meantime, uh, the stock has gone up, and actually 3-4 months of really good support at 40. Those of us who are willing to bet on this should investigate this. I am putting it out with ample warning, I hope, because I really want to figure out what took the stock down from 400 to 100 in a matter of 3 weeks. If we can dig on that, then that would be great, right? So something for us to do. And this could be, well, if assuming there's no corporate actions here and there's nothing missing on this data, this is back to a multi-year level. And well, the worst multi-year level is here, however, which is what, about 3 rupees. So if things actually break down from here, then the stock you lose 95% of your wealth. But technically right now it's looking quite nice with these volume pictures that I'm seeing. You could definitely get in on the spot side. I put a stop loss below 61, 61.20, and just be patient for maybe at least probably for weeks, if not months. And this could be going to 100. That makes 100% return. And if that does that even in 1 year, then that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's Bhushan Steel. Then which was the other one on the flags? 1 second, let me get that. Himmat Singha. Okay, so this has gone from 65 to 120 and on very good volume. This is a flag, guys. So this is good. Pennant actually 95 to 120, that's 25 rupees. If it breaks out in the next 2-3 days, let's say at around 120, 145 would be the target long term. Oh, okay, so something with the data here, but that's a very important resistance. But coming down to, so you can see that this has had a multi-year support that was formed. Oops, sorry, I pressed something. Right, and there was a pretty important breakout of these levels in September last year. No, September of 2013. It went from 40 rupees to 60 rupees, didn't do much for 4-5 months, and then went to 90 rupees, and I'm quite confident that it then came down here on pretty low volumes. Right, that is the weekly chart. And where can it stop? All right, so oops, so we are at some sort of resistance levels already, but just be patient, and I think yeah, so 120, 145, can you see this level of around 138? Right, so somewhere there is the next resistance, and yeah, this is good, right? Okay, so target stop losses, by the way, I think the whole session I've forgotten, would be below the lows of the flag consolidation, so below 115, etc. Right? So that's Himmat Singha. Then we had oh, Monet. Ispat. So I think all the steel companies, this was that 525, maybe something was announced. Again, this, can you see this chart is just exactly the same as Bhushan Steel, right? This jump last week. And well, this one has also fallen from 650 to 40 bucks. So again, really Monet Ispat, Bhushan Steel, more or less all of them showing the same pattern. Bhushan Steel technically was better. This is still forming a base. Okay, Bhushan Steel has formed a base last 3-4 months. This one should be on our radar, and actually you might be looking at a low here which may not come back to for quite some time. Let's look on daily. Yep. Right. So again, this is typical. So this is across the steel companies pattern, which is not very, which is repeating. Some move, and then 1 week sorry, 1 month of consolidation, and then another move again. This is definitely in in every sense another flag. If these gaps are closed, that would be nice, but then the flag would get invalidated. Just do some sort of sipping on this, 100 shares every day, 100 shares every day or every week, and then just hold on. The next resistance for this would be there and there. So somewhere between 50 and 56, it is at 40, please remember. So you're talking about 40 to 50, you're talking about a 25% return, and that would really be good under any circumstances. So steel companies is the place to look at. There is one more on this list, Tata Sponge, a lot more respectable in price and hasn't fallen. I'm not sure whether they do exactly the same thing as all these other guys. Okay. Okay, so that's not really the life high, but still. So 1,000 rupee stock corrected, became half, and see how it took support on psychological number 500 or plus minus that, and has, yes, again almost around the same time period, though this is not a debt recast, I think. Goes from 500 to 600 in about 3 days. Wow. And then is now consolidating and going sideways. I would say that this is a very extended flag, but remember LIC housing flag, that was 3 weeks. This is like 1, 2, 3, fourth week now. Volumes are definitely on the lower side. It's going up on higher volumes, going down on lower volumes, and this is what we need to. It's really tough to draw the outline of the flag here. Okay, I actually want it to be a flag, so I'm like trying to fit, breaking my own rules. Sorry. Okay, but yes, it's a consolidation, moving averages. One fine day it'll just move up 550 to 600, 650, lots of resistances, and after it does that, then 800. And I don't know which one is a better pick actually. I wish we had some fundamental basis on which to actually do some reviews. But clearly, I mean, if the stock is at 500, definitely not a beaten down stock like Bhushan Steel or Monet Ispat, and we'll just have to, wait and watch and see how that pans out. So, um, if it goes from here back to 1,000, that's also another almost 100% return. So, but then all those other ones which are 40 rupee, 50 rupee, 60 rupee stocks that probably have maybe a lot more retail or uh, speculative participation. This would probably be more investment grade participation. And while things like Bhushan or Monet, because they're so beaten down from 50 rupees, assuming this thing is some, I don't know what, big loss, bankruptcy sort of thing, and if it even revives in the next 5 years and 50 rupees becomes even 200 rupees or something like that, you're talking about a 4x return that could possibly be there. So sponge iron steel companies really looking um, like good buys technically. And are they value buys? They just might be. All right. Okay. There is one funny name here, Venky's. I'm not sure what they are. These chicken burgers. Right? Are they the ones who make processed meat? I think they have a setup in outskirts of Hyderabad or something, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so Venky's. What a move! 300 to 600, double the money in 2 months, and fantastic volumes. How come we missed this? Oh, because on that Investor scanner, I think we're not looking enough at the spot market. Oh, sorry, this is weekly chart. All right, so here is the daily chart, and nice double bottom, 300 rupees gone to 600 rupees, and now it is correcting. And the volumes could have easily been picked up as early as June, and then if you are patient, what a miss, what a miss, what a miss. This is really, really unfortunate. But this is nice. Would love to know what happened in terms of news. This is very encouraging. And then, as you can see, it's come to some sort of a resistance level in that 600 mark, which is there for actually quite a long time, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So now I think we might have just caught it after the up move is going to start consolidating. So that'll be interesting to watch. Right, so this is a stock which might now actually get into consolidation. It's really sad that we missed this. Actually, our tool should have picked up this stock at this point also, but we were not actually running it at that time in the middle of June. Vidya, just have a look if you can go back and make it run, say around 22nd or something like that, 23rd, 4th June, just academic interest. You would have been very, very happy fellows. You would have bought it somewhere around 350, 375, and then if you're holding it today, you have almost got 70-80% in about 2-3 months. So great, super. Okay, on I just want to finish one more from this, and that is actually to Chennai Petro, because that's from the petrochemical space, refining and all. And wow, what a move. This is also doubled, and it has done so on massive, massive volumes. Again, actually, this is two flags. A good day for flags. Good day, IMR for flags. So May, this was that big move. Please note the volumes. All right, this is the volume that you're talking about. Moved up from 93 to 120 levels in 2 days, cooled off for 2 weeks, and then notice that one fine day the low of this is 104 and the high of this is 125. 20%, almost 20% in one day. Yep, that's a 20% move in one day. And then after that it has just gone. This would have hit circuit on that day, that's why it closed there, and from there it's gone to 182. This is not really a typical flag. This is like the flag that maybe, I'm just saying this very, very tentatively. Okay, fine, this is a flag. Actually, I was going to say the one like in Reliance. Yep, this is a flag, all right, guys. And even if I want to be a little conservative and not include this 20% move, I would just take it from 130 to 180. That's $50. We're talking about 220, 230 at the very least, and definitely much higher, right? So another really good spot buy in my opinion. So cool. This is nice. Okay. 200 is going to be some sort of a halt for some time. And then 200, then 250. Right, 200, 250, 300 in steps of that. So there are resistances on top. Stop loss would have to be below 155 for a good one. Trader stop loss could be below 163. Right. Okay. Oh, Vidya has posted a link on Venki's. Right. It just says this is Dalal Times. Okay. The current market cap is 526 crores, of which more than 250 crores have been pumped in the company in the last 4 weeks. I don't understand that. Pumped in into what? To buying stocks or what? Right. Anyhow. Uh, Venky's India specializes in chicken meat processing and pharmaceutical products for both human and poultry usage. Wow, they make the drugs. They grow the chicken with the drugs, and then we eat the chicken. Great, and then they give us the same drugs. Haha. Okay. Uh, okay. It says here one liner. Fundamentally, nothing significant has changed in the company over the past 1 month. All right. Cool. Venky's Chicken Express something. All right. Thank you, Vidya. All right. And there was one more. Yes, and that is GTL Infra on our list. And the reason I'm talking about GTL Infra is because, well, if it is the infrastructure company, it doesn't look like a flag at all. What the hell? This is 2 rupees. Oh, wow. And this was a stock which was 50 rupees. It has become now 2 rupees. These are penny stocks. And this stock was also 1 rupee 35 paisa, went to 3 rupees 50 paisa. Look at that in circuits. From 2 rupees to 3 rupees. Is there some volume that we can read? Oh, not bad. 2 million shares, 900,000 shares, 3 mil, 3 what? 490,000 shares. Wow. Okay, so I don't know whether this is operator driven or something, but this stock goes from 1 rupee or 2 rupees to 3 rupees and then now has come down and is being picked up on higher and higher volumes. I'm not even sure how confident I am about applying TA to stocks like this, but nevertheless, just right. So clearly seems to have based out. Uh, Good support here. Hmm. I don't know whether to call this a flag. Our program is not that perfect, but because of its imperfections is we found maybe a really biggish type of triangle, which candle wise looks I mean, if you look at the borders, looks very wide and all, and this is from about 2 rupees to 2 rupees 65 paisa. 60 paisa on 2 rupees is how much? 30%. All right. So if it moves by 60 paisa, it moves to 3 rupees 10, and there'll probably be plenty of resistance at some 3 rupee level. Okay. So I have never played with penny stocks in my life, but well, and it might be useful looking at what this company actually does, because if infrastructure is actually reviving, then this might be one of those recovery candidates which could be multi-baggers from here. Note the significant double bottom over the whole of June and then Feb and April of 2014, and so that double bottom is at 1 rupee 40 paisa, right? So even if you bought it then and you were still holding it, you still made 100% return almost, right? Okay, so cool, that's it. And now let's look at some value picks. All right, so let's look at the other side and find stocks which are at the bottom of the heap. Let me just get this scanned. We want to look at FNO. Okay, and we want to look at so in this some more very interesting stocks. All right, and what do we see? Let me actually just make this big. All right. Uh, so these are stocks from their life lows, all right? So from lifetime low closing prices, and what you can see here is first we have R power. Not these are all FNO stocks, by the way, right? So this could be shorting opportunities. It could also be going long opportunities depending on how the chart looks. So you can see R power, JP Associates, DLF, JP Power, NHPC, IB Real Estate, GMR Infra, Rel Infra. Uh, okay, how is Coal India here? Okay, fine. This 44%. Okay, so we need to ignore this. So there's a way to read this sheet. So we need to just stick to the first few. So basically, R power is 6% away from its life low, right? So if it has to go to its all-time low, it'll have to fall 6%. Take this one for example, JP Power. If from its all-time low it has risen 23%, but if it falls from here, it'll have to fall 19%. So what you can basically look at the other way is it has risen 23%. These have risen this many percent from their all-time lows, and in this list you can see that there's a whole bunch of power stocks. Please remember, power and infrastructure is something that we've been speaking about for at least I think 3 weeks, if not more, and saying good value. Earlier we said technically very good, and then we said good value last week, right? So if you had bought them any which way from a fundamental perspective from last week or from a technical perspective from the week before, they were all coming together, and this is the sort of sweet spot you want to look at. Of course, a little painful to know that 10, 15, 20% moves have been lost, but nevertheless, this could be the start of a new trend. So let's look at all these ones in the beginning, and then I think we will be done for today, right? So you may want to note this down: R Power, JP Associates, DLF, NMDC, JP Power, NHPC, IB Real Estate, and GMR and Rel Infra. All right. Okay. So starting just with one on top, our power. Right, so that's your live flow on our power so far. Okay, so live flow at around 43. Now it is at 46. It has risen how much? It has risen 6% from its live flow. Volumes tough to make out, tough to make out. Let's go weekly. Okay, really nothing much in the volumes except that at some time middle of last year somebody had thought 60 rupees was a great deal, went to 90, but then 90 has become really bad. Please note that this candle here, big volume fall. Afterwards, this could be, the overlap between accumulation and distribution. Um Sorry, the accumulation phase overlapping with the despondency phase of these stocks, and we may never see these stocks again at these levels if they actually manage to jump up from here. So if we go back to daily, and damn, wait, let's put another trend line. Okay, so if I just put that, all right, so tentatively breaking out, right? You could think about buying it. Very important resistance at around 51. So that's a big upside from where it is right now. You might get stopped out quite easily. Stop loss below 44 rupees. Actually, even there, you never know. It just come to 44 and then, you know, uh, who knows, get stopped out and then it just comes down and goes back up again. You just have to have a lot of guts and patience to hold on to this 6 weeks. Remember this, but from here to 54, you're talking about a clear 10%, and then if it goes to 60, you're talking about a 50% return on this stock that you could get, right? 44, sorry, the first one with 25% and then a 50% return on this. Let it take, you know what, 2, 3, 4, 5 months at the end of this year. This could really be a great place. All right. So that's R power in line with the same index. Let's look at JP power. Okay, so this is the weekly chart of JP power, and you can see it has also, now we are looking at daily. For now, at least a life bottom there might have been put. Only time will tell whether it's going to break or not. Okay, and this is again one of those iffy things where you're going to have to just sit and be very patient, monitor it carefully, uh, because the volumes are not there yet. But you saw that in an earlier stock where volumes were not there. Which stock was that? And then the volumes appeared later, right? So this has gone from, this is also a penny stock, 5 rupees 60 to 7 rupees. That itself is almost a 25-40%. And then if it breaks, you should put an alert definitely for 7 rupees 40 paisa. 7 rupees 40 paisa breaks on this, then clearly we could be going much higher very quickly. All right, 10 rupees. Wow. Yeah, let me put that. From 7 rupees to 10 rupees, you're looking at a possible 50% return, and then after that, we'll just take it step by step. Let it come to 10, and then 13 rupees. From 10 to 13, another 30% from current prices. It's 100%, and you could actually see that happening in double quick time, right? Okay, so JP Power. Let's look at GMR Infra. Okay, so this is coming back to those valuation things we were talking about last week, real estate, GMR, and this was a massive bullish divergence, right? Where is it disappeared? Is it on the weekly chart? Yep. Right, on a weekly chart, we're getting bullish divergences. We had spoke about this not last week, but maybe before that, and it has gone from around 12 to 14. It has been stuck below 15 for the last 3 days, but today it closed at 15 rupees 10 paisa. There was some massive open interest. Vidya is gone. All right, fine. Would have asked him to check out open interest change only in GMR Infra and how that has panned out, because it could now be going towards 16 rupees 50 paisa and then 17.50 and 18.50. GMR is one of our wealth lab buying opportunities. So that is GMR, and then let's look at Reliance Infra. Right, that's been, I think, in the news. It's been jumping quite a lot. Yep. 350. Okay. Does anyone know whether this is Mukesh Ambani or Anil Ambani stock? Reliance Infra. Okay, no volumes on this as at this point, but definitely been jumping 350 to 420. Or as a straight line comes back to 400, please consider buying it. Volumes are not there, but every correction should be used to buy. First resistance is at 465, 470, and then we are going to see much higher values. Yep, 450 is 500, a psychological mark from the past. Yep, you can see how around between, I would say 450. Let's just mark that a little differently. Not that. Yeah, 450 to 550 is a resistance zone. No reason to could get stuck there in the future. When we get there, we will discuss it at that time, right? Okay, so for years, almost 10 years, this has been here, except for the freak 2007 2008 level, and then again 2010, quite possibly going back up again, infrastructure revival, etc., etc., the larger theme. So we're seeing infrastructures of GMR Infra, JP Power, JP Associates. Did you look at JP Associates? Sorry. So JP Associates double bottom, all right, a lot of patience, and if you have it, just stick with it, and it could really surprise. Indicators are clearly building up on strength. Okay, you just have to be very patient with this, is what I think. And who knows, maybe some re-ratings will come on this, and it is going to, once it crosses this level of 1290, quickly to 15 and even 17 rupees, right? Okay, so that is and then we've got DLF on this list, and we've got RCOM on this list. RCOM, let me do DLF first, sort of related to the rest of the stocks we have seen. So all of them, as you can see, either infra, real estate. Okay, right now DLF is not showing the sort of basing patterns one likes to see in a stock before one buys, but there is a double bottom here at 107. All right, and this stock might be at really good fundamental value. I don't know. Okay. 100 rupees psychological mark. You can see the volumes have come off in the last few months. Doesn't mean it cannot break 100. If it breaks 100, and then it's really gone. For now, this is the downtrend line to watch out for, and we have a double bottom. Question is whether the downtrend line gets broken, and then the double bottom level here in between of around that. Let's make it a little more. So that is around 160, but you know what, from even where it is right now of around 114, that's a big move. Right. So today it fell, very low volumes, very low volumes. May not go up in a hurry, let it fall, comes to 110, 101, closer to 110 it comes, the better it is, would be to buy it. All right. In the same group is IB Real Estate. So this was 700 rupees stock. It is now at 54 rupees, less than 90% of its value from peak. All right, so this is technically better than anything we have seen so far, because 2011 bottom, 2012 bottom, 2013 bottom, and now a 2014 bottom which has happened there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe even 1, 5. And yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. And fell on high volumes here, went up on okay volumes, went up here on, so this is mid 2012 October type, September October on high volumes, here no volumes, here very good volumes in May June 2014, and again volumes appearing, but this was for the red candle, I think. Oh no, this was for the green candle. So yep, Around 42 is very good, and this is looking like a weekly flag, right? Can you see that? So from 45 to 58, that is 13 rupees flag formation there, and then if it goes up 55 plus 13, we would make it 68, 70. Clearly it could go somewhere even here, right? Cool. So once it breaks 65 zone, and a lot of moving average resistance all the way till 65. Now we are on the daily. Oh, gap up. All right, in case this gap closes, that will be a really good buy, right? Went from 45 to 54. I think this is also in the FNO space. Yes, it is, of course. Right, this is really good. You could look at picking this up, right? So that's it, guys. I think uh, we found some really good ones. Just want to read it out again. R Power, JP Associates, NMDC, JP Power, NHPC, IB Real Estate, GMR, and Rel Infra. So those are the ones at the bottom. So we did tops, we did bottoms, and we did flags today, and all of them very good trading opportunities for the coming week. Cool, done, super. Are there any questions at all? You've got a whole weekend to review this. Hopefully I would have this recording up by tomorrow afternoon, and plenty of time. I'm sorry, didn't make much notes today. What I will do is I'll just put down the names of the stocks in that um, note, and I will send it off today itself so that you know which stocks to follow, and then the recording is there for the details. Okay, are there any questions? All right, so Bobby wants to see Cabra extrusions. What about these guys? Okay, so they have coming to their life high. Good find, along with what in the same ditto line as what we've been doing, except that since we looked only for FNO stocks, that probably didn't show up on our watch list. If you change the filter, it should show up. Okay, looks like a nice move. What is the 1,350 shares in a day, 7,000 shares in a day, 5,000 shares in a day, right? Bobby somehow has this tendency to find low volume stocks, right? But I'll tell you what, with Cabra, I think it's just a question of it breaking that 100 rupee mark, very important psychologically. And after that, it could easily go up, I think 10, 20, 30 rupees from where it is right now. Oh, by the way, please note for reference, there's a flag here which did not work out. Okay, there's a flag here which broke down, right? Which, of course, you would not be trading it, but just to put across the point that all flags do not break out. So this was a flag, went sideways, but broke down, right? Okay.
You can take a look at the results of this gators because it is.
Have you done some result looking? Can spare us the
Moved
effort.
from that
What have you found?
screener.in, no?
Ah,
You can click on that, you'll get the results.
okay, we'll save that for some other time. All right.
I don't know.
Okay. 100 to 70, 30% fall. And then you also have probably a inverted head and shoulder bottom here that it has broken out of,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I didn't see that. Shucks.
So neckline breakout. Yep, clear neckline breakout. Very clear neckline breakout. Measuring implication from 65 to about 80. 15 rupees, so 80, or yeah, 80 plus 15, 95, it went there and beyond, right? So it actually just 98. Cool, right? So yep, I think this is a not think, definitely a buy. What's the next target? 120, 140, 150, who knows? But definitely technically a really good fight. Okay, then Fedders Lloyd. Boo. Something happened to the stock. We have seen this before, though I have no recollection of when and why we saw this.
The volume was solid today. I didn't. I mean, I just caught it before. By the time it reached 14% or something like yesterday.
Yeah, okay. So massive volumes yesterday. Today also good volumes, right? And what, it did 20% in one day, 85 to 100. Profit booking, in my opinion, 100 rupee. Uh, all right. Broke this resistance of around 90. Any correction on this should be used to buy the stock. No idea where it is intending to go, but it was around a 30 rupee stock middle of last year. That's a 300% move in 1.5, 2 years. Okay. Oh, there's a gap also, which means that I would love for this gap to close and buy it at that time. That gap closing is unfortunately 20% below the price today. So that's a risk that one will just have to take. Okay, what are the other stocks? Indotech Transformers. Indotech. Well, nothing on the charts on this one, except that hmm,
Is a triangle there? If you put the weekly between,
if it's
there's a
there, it's
triangle with the
there.
measuring application.
If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not.
130 to 170 measuring
Yeah,
application.
180 was good. That would be sort of where that uptrend line would be. Got an ascending triangle. I'd agree with that. And a measuring implication from 180 to 145. That's about 35 rupees. Right. So 180 plus 35. You're talking about what? 210, 215. The thing is, did it break out on volumes? Right, clearly going up on volumes, coming down on low volumes. What, 1,000 shares, 4,000 shares? Right. Do you run some filter wherein you look for stocks doing less than 5,000 or 10,000 shares per day?
I pick it randomly. I go through those websites, top top
Okay.
stock research and major gains. That's where I usually find. And this one I was particularly looking at this power transmission because there's a lot of this transmission sector changes, and I think today also there was something on TV about interstate transmission.
Yeah,
Jayatri was saying something.
yeah. Power Grid is doing
So
quite a lot of big orders on that front.
yeah, and I think the government plans to set up the first of a kind ultra power projects, right?
Yep,
And yeah, so I
1,200
mean, we
kilowatts.
shouldn't forget about that, because the once those guys give out the tenders, there'll be people to gain from it.
Yeah, do these guys do that? Ultra high voltage stuff?
These guys know, but I mean, I picked it up because there was a triangle, and then I think the results are also pretty decent, I think.
Okay. Garware
Yeah,
ropes. What do these guys do?
Sona Steel.
I have,
They're into textiles.
okay. Something
They are
is,
not specifically textile, but they are into nylon ropes, I guess.
okay.
I don't know.
Nylon ropes and fishing nets and all.
Oh,
Okay.
fishing nets. Right, so this broke through its
They
life
export to
high.
Norway.
Export to Norway. Okay.
Yeah. So fishing nets basically to Norway, but a lot of other countries are also there, I guess.
What about exporting to Japan and all?
I don't know, but one interesting thing I heard on the TV about this company is that they also produces one covers, plastic covers,
Hmm.
which can be used in a submariners in a defense area. So that using that cover,
Oh,
it will not be detected by radars.
Stealth.
that's interesting. You saw it on TV.
Yeah, somebody was suggesting
Which
this one,
channel?
so I don't remember. Either CNBC
Okay.
or 80 now, yes.
It doesn't matter.
How
Just go to
long
their
ago?
website. No.
Mm.
Why you go once you
How
got the
long
ref?
ago did you see this? Aerostat balloon. Okay.
All right. So this is broke to its life high. Volumes are excellent. Picking up from what volumes at around 6,000 shares, and you had suddenly 2 lakh shares, and then now in last 1 week you've got almost an average of 60,000 shares. So, well, something is definitely cooking in this, and from the name you would never have thought they're doing into something defense related. But wow, yeah,
I didn't know
and
this.
who
Yeah.
knows where
That
this.
may be a very minor thing, a small portion of it, but majorly is into nylon ropes and nets actually.
Okay. Uh, Milestones. What milestones have they have? Specialized application for Indian defense sector. Flexible helimat. Okay. Inflated structure for radars. Aerostat balloon. This is what you're probably talking about. Value addition for coated fabric division. Right. Sapphire Ultra Pro Predator protection nets. Okay. What is this? This looks like some fishing thing. Predator protection. Okay. A lot of
There's one
patents.
connection
Lot of
was
patents they've applied for.
I sent out a link a couple of weeks back, I think, about Indian marine catch, like the marine exports increasing, right?
Hmm. So this is
There's one
2008 to
company called Avanti Feeds.
2013. They got into defense a lot. Uh, okay, agriculture. Before that, aquaculture, cages, fabrication for abalone. What is that? Aquaculture cages, Nautilus production, aquaculture praises, Norwegian standards. Hmm. High-end sports nets, batting, golf cages, premium netting. Very, very interesting. Very, very niche company. Okay, good to know. That's for sure.
Monopoly, I think, in their business.
Quite possible. Well, the thing is, when you have a monopoly stock, yeah, things do well, but then you wonder why did the stock fall from 250 to 20 rupees? And then it's only now that it has gone from 20 to 200, so 10x, 10x bagger. I mean, crazy things. But anyhow, some data is missing in my database, right? Okay. And which is the last company? Sona.
Sona Steering, and I have two more. If you can take a look at it.
Sona Steering. So this stock went from 10 rupees to 55 rupees and then just sort of stopped dead there for several months and then seems to have broken out now. So this is possibly a life high breakout that we are seeing here. Fif 49.50. Okay, no, keep it there. All right. And today, yep, good volumes only going up. So this has consolidated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, almost a year. And now I think setting itself up for the next move. Good find, Bobby. I mean, technically, I don't know fundamentally and all, but technically, this is a very good consolidation. 10-month consolidation, and then moving up. So it first of all went up whole of 2014 on very good healthy volumes, and then sideways move on very low volumes for a long time, and now the volumes are picking up. Definitely recommend it in the longer term portfolio. Could easily be at 100 in a few months. Right. Okay, cool. Which were the last two? Let's finish that off. Subros, another auto stock. They make, I think, what, shock absorbers and all, right?
And this, this thing, I chanced upon this last year, and I thought about the stock when the GST bill was passed about a few weeks back. But I couldn't
Right.
get the name. I remember what the product was. And then I just came across it. When I randomly came across it, but it had already gone up, I
What
think,
does the GST
50%.
bill got to do with this one?
See, this guy makes is probably I think very unique, the only one in India who makes these like the vehicles that Snowman Logistic uses, to move ice creams and stuff like that. They
Hmm.
use refrigerated vehicles, right?
Yeah.
So this guy makes these, and he's the only one in India who does it, from what I understand.
Okay, but where did the GST thing come into this?
Yeah, see, I'm not sure about the GST, but there's a lot of focus on cold chain, and the GST bill will end up in goods being transferred, not being stored too much, from end-to-end transport or something, right? I don't know what kind of goods, whether it's just food articles or, but anything to do with food moving, not being stored
Hmm.
and getting from point A to point B without being point A to point C without being stored in point B.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? This will benefit from it.
Okay.
And there was talk of getting the food from cutting out the middlemen in the process. And
Okay.
I think this will be directly linked to both probably the GST bill and the cold chain industry in terms of how they want to store food and food inflation and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, technically quadruple triple top type thing breakout which is going on. Volumes have clearly happened. Some news would have driven this, I think, in the last 2 3 days. And I think the next stop is $100. So you're talking about almost 20-30% returns here too, right? And the last one, Kokuyu Camlin. Wow, something have happened on volumes here again today. Hmm. Looks like Monday it's going to go up again. 75, very good support. 75 to 100. Well, by the way, the previous stock you saw Subros like that, 75 to 100, 75 here for almost 2 3 weeks, and then in about 2 weeks it suddenly goes to 100, stays again there for 2 3 weeks on the side, and then just shot up. It's at 110. Any correction on this? Should think about picking up the stock for sure. Right, so they're into the stationery and all. Cool. Done. Super. So I think our, well, not really a decision, but move away from index only and look at other stocks from a thematic perspective or whatever, whether it's breakouts or flags or um, some news has really paid off in the last few weeks, along with the fundamental understanding of what's going on. I think that's really doing well, and we definitely should do more of this in the days ahead, right? Okay, so we're going to stop here for today. Thank you everyone for your participation. I'll send out
Okay.
the notepad soon, and the recording up by tomorrow. Yeah, Bobby, you're saying something?
When are you meeting up next? The Wealth Lab or anything else?
I'll
Is
let you
there a
know
plan? Okay,
sometime
just
next
text me.
week, but not yet sure when. Okay, thank you. Have a great weekend and have a even more profitable week ahead. So look forward to some trades and looking forward to any feedback that you may like to provide about the sessions going forward, right? Thank you and good night.